Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA, and today I'm super stoked for this one, man. You know, we've shot a handful of the Fast and Furious cars, but one of the cars I've really been looking forward to, we're on our way to shoot right now. It's the badass little Escort from Fast and Furious 6. We're headed over to my friend Bob's Movie Machines, courtesy of our friends at Chrome Cars, as they've bought this one as well. So we are gonna go shoot the Escort. You ready for this one, man? Hold on, because here we go. All right, you guys, so this is a picture car, just like we did the GTX, just like we did the Ice Charger. So the reason I preface it with that is for any of you that want to dig into details, especially fit and finish, this is not the car to do it on. This is a car that's meant to get the shot, and that's what it did. And you look at the role it plays in the Fast and Furious 6 movie, it's great. Car goes airborne. Paul Walker, Brian, airborne, saving Roman from getting run over by a tank. So let's talk about what this car at least represents. It's a 1970 Ford Escort Mark I RS1600. This car became legend in the rally world. I mean, really, one of the things I read about it says it might be the winningest rally car of all time. Very common in England, not something we saw here. You know, it was a low horsepower car, and then they bumped it up to the 1.6 liter motor from Cosworth. In our standards, still a low horsepower motor. It was making about 115 horsepower at roughly 1,800 pounds. It's got the dual side draft Webers on here. You know, you got the fog lamps, you got the teeny little wheels. I love it, man. I mean, these are like golf cart wheels, 13-inch wheels, but with a pretty hefty tire on there. It's got a 205 going on. The flares are super cool. I mean, you gotta love the mud flaps on here, right? In America, that's more typical to see on a big rig than it is on, say, a car. But, you know, it's just fun. I think it's a super fun car. The color combo on this thing's just right on the money. Very Ford racing of its time. When you go into the interior, not a lot to see here. I mean, you might expect something else because there's the hero car where they're gonna do interior shots, so it's gonna get a little more love. This car obviously wasn't one of the cars where it was getting an interior shot. So what you've got is a race seat, you've got a roll cage, pedals, steering wheel, and your switches. And the switches are obvious and easy so that the stunt driver doesn't have to guess what's going on. Fuel pump, ignition, battery kill, very basic stuff. This isn't about the details. You know, a lot of the cars we get to shoot on our channel are really big dollar cars. I mean, you figure a car like, let's say the Evolution Charger that we shot recently, right? Roughly about a $650,000 budget on that car. I mean, they'll build 7 of these and buy them, plus a bunch of other cars for $650,000. The budgets just don't allow for building a detailed car, and certainly the time constraints don't allow for building a detailed car. But cut back to the movie, and what you see is the really cool, legendary 1970 Ford Escort Mark I RS1600 throwing down hard. And that's what this car represents. And it's awesome whenever I get to sit in one of these cars. You can picture it in the movie. And even though I barely get to drive it because it's not a street legal car, which, by the way, the reason it's not street legal, a lot of you guys ask why, is simply because of paperwork. This car hasn't been registered to be back on the streets. It's an easy paperwork thing and it's back on. But just driving around in one of these things, you picture it in the movie and you understand the legend of where your butt is sitting and where your hands are going. And for all I know, don't know for sure, but for all I know, this could potentially have been a car that Paul actually drove, which, you know, come on, man, that's just cool. It lives. All right, you guys, I got no mirrors. I'm also driving the 1970-ish, and I'll explain why I say ish, but this is the 1970 Mark I Ford Escort from Fast and Furious 6. Now, it's not a street legal car. It's used as a picture car. They don't need it to be street legal. So it's not. It's a simple paperwork thing, and then this car is street legal. But this is the little Escort from the movie. This is one of them. Depends on who you talk to. Some people will tell you that there was 5 of these cars. Some will tell you that there was 7 of them. I can tell you this much for sure. None of them are the more valuable RS2000. The 1600 is the one that they used for the movie. This thing barely wants to run, man. Come on, baby. But I tell you what, it's always funny with these picture cars because they really are made to get the shot, get it done, and move on, you know? So they're not perfect cars. As far as details go, they're not very pretty, as you can tell. You know, you get up close to them, and they don't look so great, but who cares? It's for the movie. This one does have the dual levers on it. You can tell the car needs some love. I mean, it's been sitting in storage for quite some time. Soon it'll be headed back to Germany. My friends from Chrome Cars, along with some of the other Furious cars, have bought this one, and they'll get this car sorted out. That's what they do. A picture car, they always do some similar things to it. If it's going to do any stunt work, like you see in this one, it's a fully caged car. You got to protect the stunt driver, right? Gotta kind of love the body on this thing. The flares look exceptionally cool. It just looks tough, you know, for a little, it's like a little pocket rocket. Like, I'm sure when these things are running right, they're probably a really badass little car to drive. So we'll go down to the center console here. Some of the switches, which this is so picture car. Label everything obvious so that the stunt driver doesn't have to guess what to grab. There's a wiper switch, which I love because it is, we're getting a tiny little drizzle here today. You got headlights, you got a fan switch, which is on because apparently this car will heat up pretty quickly. Fuel pump, battery on, off, start, pretty basic stuff. It does have fog lights. Don't know if they work. I'm not going to trust it. I'm not going to try it because I don't want to die out here in this thing. You know, remove the passenger seat. We just got a race seat here. I'm sure at some point there was harnesses in here. Currently, there's no seatbelt in here. I mean, it's funny. It feels like a go-kart, you know. And I got to admit, pretty close to it with the wheels, tire sizes here. You got a little 13-inch wheel. Decent-sized tire on it, though. I mean, you got a 205 on this little 13-inch wheel. You have RevTech gauges. They look great in here. Simple. Everything about this car still looks like, you know, it looks like what it is. It really does look like a car from the 70s. Alright, you guys, well, that's it for the Fast and Furious 6 Escort. Just a fun little car, man. And go to figure, towards the end of us shooting here, carburetor's cleaned out a little bit and the car actually started to run pretty well. Could kind of get a sense of what's there, you know? And I know the guys at Chrome Cars well enough to know that when this car gets back to Germany, they will get it sorted out and it will be running as good as it possibly can. which hopefully I'll get to go over to Germany and drive it when it's really up to speed. But nonetheless, man, just neat little car. The role it plays in the movie's awesome. You know, what can I say, man? I'm driving a car here that's a legend from Fast and Furious 6. So really a blast to shoot this one today. Hope you guys had fun in this one. As always, I say thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we're up to. We really do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.